Today we are breaking down the absolute madness of the 2026 Dutch Grand Prix, how Max Verstappen disaster unfolded, how Ferrari managed to snatch total defeat from the jaws of victory for Lewis Hamilton, and how Lando Norris and Kimi Antonelli stole the headlines. Max Verstappen, the home hero, crashed out at the very start of the Grand Prix. Just like that, the grandstand fell silent. The race director had no choice. Out came the red flag. Now a red flag at Zandvoort isn't just a pause. It's a complete reset button. It completely rewrote the strategy game from the top of the grid all the way down to the bottom. When the race restarted, the grid order looked entirely different. Antonelli pulled off a stunning move, jumping Lando Norris for the lead. Piastri slotted into P3, Russell took P4, and both Ferrari cars with a mountain of work to do found themselves sitting dangerously at P5 and P6. At this point, the game changed. Piastri and Gio Russell started struggling with their tire pace, while the Ferrari came charging back like absolute freight trains. But here is where Ferrari traditional headache kicked in. In their eagerness to make a tire offset work, they kept Lewis Hamilton out. They kept him running in dirty air lap after lap. For a long time, the Ferrari strategy seemed to hold firm. Lewis Hamilton was managing his tire beautifully up until lap 44. But Formula 1 is a game of margin and racing law can change in a heartbeat. Enter lap 55, a virtual safety car is deployed, and this, my friend, is where the race completely turned on its head. That virtual safety car enabled Charles Leclerc, Andre Kimi Antonelli, and a few others to dive into the pit lane for a pit stop. Over the team radio, you could literally hear Lewis Hamilton's frustration boiling over. Are you using me as a guinea pig or what? How long will you have me stay out? Because of that timing, Lewis was handed a golden chance to fight for the podium because Lando Norris and Gio Russell didn't pit immediately. 2 laps later, on lap 57, the race resumed, green flag racing, and Antonelli instantly overtook Gio Russell, and suddenly the battle for P3 was completely alive. Lewis Hamilton was charging hard, closing the gap to Gio Russell for the coveted P3 spot. He was right on his gearbox, lining him up, getting ready to make the definitive move, and then lighting struck twice and the BSC came in. Why is Lewis Hamilton luck so painful bad with safety car and BSC timing? This second BSC was bought out for debris and that had literally been sitting on the track for the last 3 laps. The exact BSC that initially gave Lewis Hamilton a lifeline to grab that podium literally took it away. Why? Because the BSC gave Gio Russell some crucial breathing room to cool his tire and defend his position. When racing resumed, Russell managed to fend off Lewis Hamilton and securing P3. I genuinely believe Ferrari had the race pace today, at least enough to secure a final podium position. They just didn't have the execution or the tactical management to back off both of their drivers, and now there is a real tension brewing between the Ferrari drivers as they pack their bags and head straight into their home race Monza. When you look back at the entire grid, Lando Norris drove like a champion from the front, while Fernando Alonso put on a masterclass of recovery from the back. If you missed out on watching this live, trust me, you owe it to yourself to go back and watch the full replay. It was epic. Before we wrap this off, I want to know your thought. Do you think Ferrari threw away Lewis' podium or was it just plain bad luck with the BSC? Drop your thoughts in the comments down below. I read and reply to every single one of you. If you enjoyed this deep dive, make sure to hit that subscribe button and follow the channel F1 Prince for more Formula 1 race recap, strategy breakdown and paddock updates as we head straight to Italy. And thank you so much for watching F1 Prince, and I will see you in the next one.